What's going on, Stellar Crew? Bob MacArthur here for Stellarvue Telescopes for the November edition of In the Sky. I got my scope set up here at a local school, and I'm setting up to do a star party. And that's what's great about this hobby we have, this passion we have, is the ability to share it with others. So I encourage you, get out there, contact a local school, see if you want to do a star party. Set up at just a park and have a telescope out. People will come and look through it. Maybe talk to one of your restaurants or favorite places to hang out, a library or something like that. Get the public engaged in this hobby. We get involved in our imaging and sometimes our times with our friends and out observing and things like that. But what's great is public education and getting out there and sharing our passion with others. And November is a great time to do it, especially this November. We have the planets coming up. We have, Saturn and Venus and Jupiter. And, the moon is always a great thing to show the public. In November, we have things that like the Andromeda Galaxy and so many cool things to show people. And we are even starting to get some of those wintertime constellations up. So get out there, observe, share your passion, because, this thing is fun and we love it. So let's get out and do it. And let's talk about what we got going on in the sky for November 2024. What's going on, Stellar Crew? Bob MacArthur here again for In the Sky, November 2024. So let's talk about all the wonderful things that we got going on this month. November is a busy month. There is a lot going on. And starting off the month, we have that waxing crescent moon on November 3rd hanging out low in the western sky with Mercury. So if you got a nice view of the western sky down to the horizon, that'll be a nice little treat to check out. And then actually the next day, November 4th, the moon's a little bit higher, going to be up there with Venus. It's been fun watching Venus getting higher and higher in the sky. On November 5th, the southern toward meteor shower peaks. Kind of favorable. The moon's not quite big and bright yet. So, later in the night, moon sets. You'll get some good meteors. On November 10th, Saturn is going to be right up there next to the waxing gibbous moon. I always love it when the moon and Saturn pair up. Now, if you're lucky enough to be in the Caribbean, Central America, or parts of South America, I think it's the northern parts of South America, you are going to be able to see an occultation where where our moon passes in front of Saturn and covers it up. That's a fun event. I always love watching an occultation. They're fun to get. So if you are in that area, make sure you look up. Even if you're not in the area where you get an occultation, get out there and look at that nice little pairing. Now, on November 11th, we have the northern toward meteor shower. Unfortunately, the moon's going to kind of play a role in that one. Later on in the night, the moon might set and you might be able to get some meteors like before sunrise. But unfortunately, the moon's going to be kind of out that night. But you could get some big bright meteors. It's always fun to see those. And then the same night, the moon is going to occult Neptune. So we have the occultation of Saturn on the 10th and the occultation of Neptune on the 11th. And actually, we have some other occultations later in the month, too. So if you look right there, I have a website that is a great resource for looking at when lunar occultations are and where they are visible. So it's the planets are placed really nice right now for some occultations. So check that out. Because on the 15th and 16th, the moon passes through the Pleiades. And that actually is a fun event to watch because you can actually watch the moon pass over the different stars in the Pleiades. And it just makes a really nice picture too. So check that out. And you know what? Everybody's fun planet to say. No, on November 16th and 17th that evening, the planet Uranus is at opposition. So check out the planet Uranus. I really do enjoy looking at that. Through my refractor, you get this nice greenish disc. If you have a larger scope, I happen to have a 16-inch Dob. You can also look through that and get Uranus a little bit bigger and start seeing some of Uranus's moons, which are named after Shakespearean characters as an homage to England, where William Herschel is from and who discovered the planet Uranus. So that's fun. So definitely check out Uranus. On November 17th, we have the Leonid meteor shower. I love this meteor shower. Unfortunately, we're going to have a big old bright moon for the Leonid meteor shower. But we could still get some of those bright meteors. It's nothing good. You're not talking meteor storm. And again, with the moon being out, that'll have an issue. But it's always fun to go out for a little bit to try and see if we get a few of those Leonid meteor showers. The best time to watch the Leonids is after midnight, when the constellation Leo starts to rise up in the early morning. So, and then on November 17th, same night as the Leonid meteor shower, that waxing gibbous moon is going to be near Jupiter. And Jupiter is coming. It's going to be in opposition here soon. And I've already got some great views of Jupiter. And it's fun to watch that planet. I got a great view of it in October. I stayed up pretty late to look at it. And the cloud bands and the great red spot and the moon. So, and the moons of Jupiter. Jupiter's coming, and it's a fun one to watch. We've been lucky with Saturn, and now we got Jupiter coming, and Mars. Holy cow, we got so many planets. We'll get there in a second. And then we also have the waning gibbous moon hanging out with Mars. There we go, in the morning sky on November 21st. So that evening, and it's been fun. I'm a teacher, and I've been getting up now with the early mornings and the change in daylight, and I've been able to see Jupiter and Mars. I'm like, Mars up there in Gemini-ish part of the sky has been fun to see. But like I said, we'll talk about planets here in a second. On November 27th, we have another occultation. We actually have the waning crescent moon occulting the bright star in Virgo, Spica. So lots of occultations going on this month. And like I said, check out that resource right there. I really do enjoy hitting that and trying to find out when different occultations are with different objects in the sky. So there we go. Speaking of planets, let's get to the solar system and what we got going on. I don't know. The comet Atlas C23A3, I had a weird relationship with it, man. Here in Colorado, the Denver area, right as the comet rounded the sun and was going to be visible in the evening sky, we had like clouds. I'm like not even joking. We had some of the nicest weather, clear skies, dry, beautiful observing. And then, go figure, whoop, the comet comes around, it's visible in the evening sky, and we had clouds. And I finally got to see it when it was pushing like a 4th magnitude. And, I did get some fun shots through my SVX 102D, got some good views there, but it was higher and a little bit fainter. So, great shot right there by James Connell. Great job on shooting the comet there, man. Nice work. So thanks for sending your pictures in. And guys, feel free sending your photos in. We like to post them on our website. We like to post them on the socials. I like to put them in the sky. So y'all shoot your pictures to us. I'd love to see what you're getting. So let's talk about the planets. Again, I put the Sky and Telescope Observing tool up there. I really do like that tool. They do a great job showing us what's like with Saturn, what moons we're seeing. With Jupiter, what moons we're seeing, if the great red spot's coming around. And then with Mars, it's been I've been using this tool on Mars and actually Jupiter for decades. Decades. They've been running this tool for a long time. So it's nice to know like what features on Mars are visible, what poles you can you can change the settings to orient the planet like you would be seeing it through your telescope or your images. So it is a very cool tool. I also like the Sky Live. This talks about comets, asteroids, minor planets, binary stars. It is a great resource to find out what's up, when it's up, where it's at. I used the Sky Live a lot when I was trying to find Pluto with my 16, and it's great. So we have so much going on with the planets this month. We have Mercury and Venus low in the western sky. You have, Uranus at opposition. You have Saturn in the sky. Jupiter's on its way to opposition here in the next couple months. Mars, the same thing. Neptune's up there. Pluto, we can all get into that. Pluto right now is pretty hard because it's in the constellation or it's near Sagittarius, kind of squished in between Sagittarius and Capricornus. So it's going to be lost in the sun's glare. But we have planets, and I love it when all the planets are starting to come up. It feels like we've kind of had this dry spell. Saturn's been great. I've been enjoying looking at Saturn. But I'm ready for Jupiter, and I love Mars. Coming around every 2 years for opposition. So in this year's opposition, Mars is going to be high up in the sky. So that'll be nice. Moon phases, there you go. November 1st is new moon, and full moon is November 15th. So plan your observing sessions accordingly. So get out there, observe. It's always fun. And here's the thing. Sometimes I know some of you are like imagers, right? And I'm mostly a naked eye, observational astronomy kind of guy, do a little bit of imaging. But I will tell you what, when you get a chance to look at a planet through a telescope, it's pretty awesome. And actually, the eyepieces I really like to use are the Stellarvue Optimus eyepieces. So I have the 9mm here, boop, and I have the 4.7, and these work great in my 102 and my 152. The eye relief is really easy. I have to wear glasses. It has a 15mm eye relief, so I really like it. I like that. And then you get the wide field. The 4.7 is 110 degree, and the 9 is 100 degree. And what's really cool here is you have the 2-inch barrel you can use, but then you have an adapter that you can unscrew for 1.25 inches. So like back over here, I have my SVX 102D, and this is the scope I like to travel with, and it's got the 1.25 inch. So boom, right there. You put the 1.25 inch right in there and fits nicely, right? And then if you want to go with the 2-inch, like my 16-inch Dob, I like to use 2-inch eyepieces with that. You got the adapter. It just screws right on. Just like that. Boom, screws on. Now you got a 2-inch, and you can use that in your 2-inch diagonal, which I have on my 152 also, my 2-inch diagonal or my 2-inch. And then, you know, if the seeing is popping, like, whoo, Saturn through this thing has been amazing. But if your seeing's not going and you kind of have unsteady sky, the 9mm is a great eyepiece. And it too has the 2-inch. There's also a 13 and a 20. That 20mm with that 100-degree field of view, amazing for deep sky objects. So if you're looking for some eyepieces to do some deep sky observing with, consider using 4.7 and the 9 Optimus eyepieces. They're great. And kind of having that nice wide field is really nice too. And like I said, 15mm of eye relief really is comfortable for non-glass wearers and eyeglass wearers. So check out those eyepieces. I love using them. So speaking of using eyepieces and everything else and wide field, let's talk about deep sky. So star clusters. You know, we still have some great star clusters. The summer stuff is kind of, you know, if you get up, if you're, you know, at the beginning of the month, you're early in the night, you can still get some of those kind of like, you know, star clusters in Aquila and Cygnus and things like that. But right now, Cassiopeia and Perseus and Cepheus are placed really nice high in the sky. So my favorite cluster this time of year is the Perseus double cluster, which great image right there. With the Perseus double cluster. So this is my favorite to look at. I do truly love this cluster. In light polluted skies, in rural skies, in suburban skies, this cluster to me, it never disappoints. M39 is a nice little tight cluster up there in Cygnus. You also have the Pleiades. You know, the Pleiades are coming, and that is such a fun object because you can see it with the naked eye. And you know, and sometimes when I'm doing my my public nights or with my star parties with my students, they're like, oh look, the Little Dipper. I'm like, no, that's the Little Dipper over there. That's the measuring cup. So I like to call it the measuring cup. It's kind of fun. So the Pleiades are coming up, and we still have M15 and M2. So we still got some globulars up there. So yeah, still got some clusters to look at. And I do love looking at clusters. The refractors just pop those stars. So do we have nebula? Yeah, we got some nebula up. So I'm trying to every month here kind of showcase some of those fainter nebulas that sometimes we might skip over that make great astrophotography targets. So here I have the Cocoon Nebula up there in Cygnus, IC 5146 or Caldwell Object Number 9. Cool little nebula. So get some data on that and see what you can get. The Iris Nebula is still up there, NGC 7023, Caldwell Object Number 4. It's a reflection nebula. So with the emission nebula, you can kind of get that glowing gas. With the reflection nebula, the starlight is reflecting off of the gas. So kind of a different nebula. With the Pleiades, M45, it's an open star cluster, but you can start getting some of that blue reflection nebula with it too. And then the Bubble Nebula. That's fun. It's a fun nebula to get. And, you know, like good image right there of the Bubble Nebula. And again, send in your images. And then we got that great of the Helix Nebula. I really like the Helix Nebula, and I think sometimes we forget about the Helix Nebula because, you know, we're still hanging on to the Ring Nebula or the Dumbbell Nebula. We also have, you know, the Saturn Nebula, which is a planetary nebula, but the Helix is big. It's a good nebula to check out. So we got some planetaries, we have some emission nebulas, we have some reflection nebulas. We have some good nebulas in the fall, and sometimes I think that we like, oh, the fall, when's Orion coming? Orion's coming. It's coming, right? But there's some other fun targets. We actually have another one that's coming up with Perseus is the California Nebula, which is great in hydrogen. I love popping in my hydrogen beta filter and looking at that in my 16. And I know y'all have gotten some good images of it with your scopes. And then you can actually still get the North American Nebula too, because that's up there by Deneb and Cygnus. So we still have some good nebulas to attack here in the month of November. Galaxies, you know what? Of course, there's the Andromeda Galaxy. You know, that thing's coming at us. It's blue shifting. It's going to potentially collide with the Milky Way galaxy in about 4.5 to 5 billion years. But it's such a beautiful galaxy to look at. You know, you throw in a wide field eyepiece like that 20 millimeter Optimus, and you get this big field, and it fills the sky. I actually used my Stellarvue wide field on that, and it looked phenomenal in my 102. So get a wide field view of that, or shot of it, or images. It's a fun object to shoot for sure. My son David has shot it with his scope, his 90, and it's fun. It's a good image. But there's some other galaxies out there too, like the Triangulum Galaxy. And I think one galaxy that we sometimes forget is NGC 253, the Sculptor Galaxy. It's low, so it's hard for some of our high latitude friends up there to get it. But if you're kind of like mid latitude to southern hemisphere, shoot that galaxy, because it is a phenomenal galaxy, not only to look at visually, but a fun one to take pictures of. And then a barred spiral galaxy. You know, Pegasus and Andromeda, they get a lot of attention with M33 and M31 and also Stephan's Quintet. But there's some other really great galaxies in Pegasus and Andromeda. Like we got the Propeller Galaxy, NGC 7479 up there. And then we also have NGC 891. Both of these also are Caldwell objects. So just great John spiral for 89 or for 891, and then a barred spiral galaxy for 7479. So there's galaxies too. November's fun. It's not, you don't have a whole lot of bright big constellations like you think of when you have the summer constellations. The fall triangle or summer triangle still hanging out. You don't have the big bright winter stuff yet, but we do have some just really nice objects to observe and shoot. So, but let's like we do, let's end it up with some binaries. And here we are, binaries. And every month I try and find some new ones for me to discover, but also and share with you, but also for y'all to, get some just, like Almach, I mean, Gamma Andromeda, just easy one to shoot. But let's go from the top to the bottom. So 65 Pisceum. It's weird because it's kind of right there on it's in a weird spot. It's kind of in Andromeda, it's in the Pisces area. So I did take some notes on it because I want to make sure we get some good description in there. But it's a nice tight pair. They're about the same color and they're about 6th magnitude. So if you're a visual observer, you kind of got to do some star hopping. I like to use that middle star that you use to get to the Andromeda Galaxy, but then you can go down to 65 Pisceum. And they're nice and tight, and they're about the same color. So fun little binary pair to get. Probably I would say maybe the most challenging one to get at this time around. And then we'll swing on over to Gamma Aries. So Gamma Aries, I personally like this one a lot. It is they're about the same color. So about the same color, about the same brightness, kind of looks like two little car headlights. But they have a really nice separation. I was looking at it with my 152 with my students, and they loved it. Like, you would think, oh, it's just two stars. But like, oh, those are really close, and they're the same brightness. So definitely, I really like Gamma Aries a lot. So check that one out. And then, like I said, Almach. Honestly, that is a good one to look at because it's just a solid binary pair. It's got a color difference. It has not only a color difference, but also a brightness difference. So you have a bright yellow and then a fainter yellow, or let's see, you have the bright yellow orange primary. Yeah, and then you have the fainter blue secondary. So you get the blue secondary, you get the orangish yellow primary, but then they also have a magnitude difference. So I would definitely check that one out. It's also, you can get that one from the cities, so you can look at it in light pollution if you're doing, sidewalk astronomer thing or astronomy in the park, or, doing something with the library. That's a good one to look at too. And then Eta Persei. Eta Persei is a cool one. You have a bright orange, reddish primary and a fainter blue secondary. So again, kind of like the Almach, where you got two different ones with two colors and magnitude differences. So check out that one. It's funny because just binary stars, but for some reason, when you're hitting them with your refractor, that contrast and that color, I think binaries are really cool to look at. And again, if you have any suggestions of binaries or galaxies or nebula or star clusters, let us know. I learned from you guys, y'all, and I love hearing about your stories and your observing sessions. So, we have the forum, the Stellarvue users forum, where we are sharing our experiences with our scopes and things like that. So get on there. Talking about the user forum. Check out the Stellarvue user forum. It's a great place for Stellarvue users to get on, ask questions about their scopes, ask questions about what's up in the sky, what's in the sky and things like that. November's a great month to observe. In our southern hemisphere friends, you guys are going into spring. You're in spring. It's getting warmer. Here in the northern hemisphere, it's getting colder. We have Thanksgiving here in the United States. And actually, Thanksgiving's fun because there's always those things you don't talk about at the Thanksgiving dinner table. So just get your scope out. Go set up outside, show your family Saturn, show your family some of the objects we talked about tonight, the Perseus double cluster, the Andromeda galaxy, and go for your walk to work off the Thanksgiving meal, watch some football because I know we got football on Thanksgiving, but set up that scope for family, maybe for friends too, whoever's over, because if the family's there, it's great to be around family. I love being around family, and I do love looking through my scope. And it's, again, sharing the passion with others, the closest people to us. And I think it's great to have this hobby. And it is a hobby I'm very thankful for. It's something I've enjoyed since I was a kid. It is something that I enjoy sharing with people, my students. So I am very thankful for my grandfather and my dad, and my family who got me into this hobby, and I'm thankful for my students who I get to share this hobby with, and I'm thankful for the Stellar crew. It's fun to get to know some of you and share some of your images and just hear about your experiences. So have a great observing month and stay warm in the northern hemisphere, and for you our friends in the southern hemisphere, enjoy the warmer weather. So all right, y'all, keep looking up.